Hi, hello. In today's video, I will be kind of trying out a new art style and redrawing some old art. Old-ish. It's about a year old. This is when I started implementing a more realistic nose-ish around this time to represent different nose types. I didn't really add this into my style because I never really thought about it until I thought about this specific character, because she has, I wouldn't call it a hooked nose. I'd call it like a nose that has been broken before. So it has like a ridge on it from where it deviated and where it got broken. But it's a very prominent break in the nose because it was a pretty good whack that got her on the nose. And so I wanted to show that, and I was like, wow, this is like a whole new thing, a whole new world. And I really still do the old piece. I just wanted to redraw it to see if I could do anything better. I also wanted to try out a new thing with my art style, which is painting. I'm thinking about completely changing the way I render normally, because I've been painting a lot, digitally painting a lot, and it's so freeing and so loose, yet there's such definition in the forms. It's so much fun, and I love it. Oh, and then if you like the art in this video, you should subscribe. If you like me, you should subscribe. If you're new here, and both of those things, yes, subscribe. If you're already subscribed, you should like and share and comment. I'm a little advertiser today. Okay, now then I'm done with that. And so I rendered everything completely differently than how I did the first drawing. It's on the YouTube video for this drawing is on my YouTube channel. I don't remember the title of it. You'll find it in the thumbnails, and you can go there and you can watch that video after this one. But for the cross, I tried to make sure it looked like more like gold, because the idea was it was a vampire in front of her with a vampire weapon in front of a upside down golden cross with broken glass in the background. And I made sure the upside down cross looked super golden, because I wanted it to look like it was made out of like solid gold, because that was my idea. Because vampires, you roll around in your riches and you drink the blood of other, I don't know, rich people. I made sure that the trick with gold is gold and any other shiny material has really dark darks and really light lights, and there's not really that much of a complete gradient between the dark darks and the light lights. I think I did do a decent job, but I did only figure this out with the gold. Specifically, gold is the one that shows off this the most, until recently when I was actually looking at a piece of gold and I realized that. For the rest of this, for those of you who don't know, this is my original character, Mara. She is a vampire. Her whole thing is that she disguises herself as a high schooler, a senior in high school, because she's a little bit too old to pass off as a younger high schooler. She's around 20-ish. She hasn't found her new niche now that she's in a vampire age where she's too old to be in high school, but she hasn't found her niche yet, so she's just drifting. But that's her whole thing. But she is from a video game idea I was gonna make, where it was sort of where you would go up against your siblings on how high of a kill count you could get, and you would travel from school to school, killing as many people as possible to try to beat your siblings with the vampire sibling rivalry. The stones on the blade in the first one and the second one are blood. With my version of vampires, these versions, bloodstones they give you power, hence the word blood in them. I don't know if they're made out of blood, but they have some sort of vampiric property that basically gives them some of the effects of a lot of blood does, without them having to have that much blood. The higher you get in this theoretical game, and the more siblings you fight against, the more bloodstones they have. And when you win, you collect all of their bloodstones, because you don't need bloodstones to live, or you collect their bloodstones. And these are all the bloodstones that they can be added anywhere. I've made bloodstone necklaces and stuff, but Mara has a bloodstone knife with places for you to put some of the bloodstones. And then as you get more, there's more places to put them, but my favorite place to put it was on the knife. I added more bloodstones because I like to think in this drawing, it's more in the future, so she'd have more bloodstones. And I thought it'd be more fun to add more bloodstones to it. I tried to keep her skin tone and her hair relatively the same while painting this. I had a super fun time painting this because I made the lighting like super intense. And I made everything really dark. And I think I really added in like that broken nose look that she has. The backstory reason for that is her older brother punched her in the face really hard when they were kids. And that's why she has a broken nose. Yeah. For the hair, I did want her to have black hair, but I wanted to make sure it had like red in it because when I think of her hair, I think of a reddish black. And when I think of her skin, I think to other vampires and to herself, she is gray. But to humans, she is a human skin color. It's like a vampiric disguise, and the more blood you have, the more convincing your human disguise is. So the more blood she has, the more magic she can use to like make herself, because she's 6 feet tall or something like that. I either made her like 5'7", between 5'7" and 6 feet. Sorry, I hit my mic. Naturally. But she could use magic to make herself a vampire, disguise magic to make herself appear shorter, smaller, more human. And the more blood you have, the more you can use this magic, but it runs out and then you have to lower your disguise. So you need a certain amount of blood to keep up your disguise. And if you want to go with a very basic blood-saving disguise, you can, but more people will be weirded out or suspicious by you because the only thing that really stays the same is you no longer have a gray skin tone and your ears are rounded, but you're still this giant humanoid, which is scary for most normal-sized humans. Another thing about the hair is I tried to add as many little red highlights because I knew that the background, I wanted it to be backlit red. Because that's the only thing I will say about the original that I did was I wish I went harder on the lighting. At this point in my art, I guess, career, sorta, I didn't really think about lighting all that. I did think about lighting, but I didn't go as hard on the lighting as I do now because now I love fucking dramatic lighting. It is great. I love dramatic lighting. And another fun thing about painting is I think about the lighting as I'm doing it. So one, I know how I'm shading it. And two, I add these saturated tones. And I use tones that aren't even within. For this, I'm using a darker brown. But I'll go back in with this dark red that isn't even near the same brown I was using to fill in the shadows. Because more realistically, and this was what helps fill out the forms a lot more, shadows are not always the same color as the thing they are. So like when I was drawing the last video, Neep, I used oranges in her skin tone even though the light source was like a purpley color because to make Neep look more like alive. This was something I had problems with the first time around I rendered Neep's skin, but then I figured it out the second time. And for this one, it made it all the more easier because I already knew she has a grayish skin tone. If I use grays, great. But I can use that light source. I can also use the fact that she's near brown material, make some of the little bit of it brown, or make light reflect off of it that's brown. For the shirt, I made sure to use grays, but I made sure to use cool and warm grays. First to give off of that red light, and second to because I think white looks better shaded with. But yeah, I also made sure to add in that dramatic light source I was trying to do. But not so dramatic that it covered up everything. I was having a great time. For the belt, one thing that I did add was a belt. I thought the belt made her outfit look to her design. I added a belt because I thought the belt added a lot more formal school outfit to her design. I also, instead of a small tie, I gave her a larger tie because it looked more British private school to me. And in my brain, this theoretical video game takes place in a bunch of private schools around the world, and the outfit that I imagine her in is the one for a British private school. That's the outfit that she is the one that she wears that's her main outfit, is a British private school outfit. She wears stockings underneath. I like the way I rendered out the stockings. They look, even though you barely can see them, they look clean, they look sleek, they look like stockings from like the 50s with a line in them, or like the 40s with a line in them, that time period. So I like to think, since she's been alive since around the Renaissance period, like most of her siblings, except for the younger ones, that she keeps certain traits of style regardless of like time period. So the old-timey fashion looking stockings is one thing she keeps. She always keeps her long hair because she believes that no matter what, even if the trend is short hair, usually it always goes back to having longer hair. And so to keep herself within the normal, she keeps herself having longer hair. Also, she spent like hundreds of years growing it out and treating it like it's her baby, so it's her baby. For her eyes, my version of vampires, the less blood they have, the more monstrous they look, and the more their skin becomes grayer. They get smaller. They turn into these gremlins. Hair starts falling out, and when they drink blood, it gets replenished. But also that means when they get a feral or go into like a bloodlust, they can turn completely animalistic and lose themselves to their vampiric urges. So if Mara was starving for blood and was starting to turn into a like lesser vampire, lesser with like quotations, like the lesser vampires, they aren't lesser as in like lesser, but they shrink down smaller. Like I said, their hair starts falling out. They look like Nosferatu, but smaller and more. If Dobby and Nosferatu had a baby, and they lose all sense of conscience, and they become things. Those are the vampires that most humans think of in this world, or that are vampires, because that's a vampire who has no blood and they're only controlled by their urges. And usually, once you get stuck in that state for too long, you get killed by a human because you get caught because you're not thinking and you're just running after any human or anything with blood until you can get yourself back up. But a vampire who's on the verge of starting to transform into this would have a very hard time controlling their urges. Their eyes would turn red. Their pupils would expand like a cat's does, because even though it's kind of cool when a vampire or like werewolves or whatever, their eyes turn like to slits, it's not really realistic for at least predators. Like I based the vampires' eyes off of cat eyes, because I think cats are very excellent hunters, and because they are such excellent hunters, their eyes expand to get more light and to get more information when they're excited or hunting or in the dark. I give the same logic to my vampires. Anyway, I really like this piece. I love how detailed it is. The shading is delicious. I want to just eat the shading, and I love the background. I love it. I didn't render it this time around, but I think it being a lot more subtle makes this drawing just pop even more, and adding the light source of it being the background for the most part. And then the stones, I already mentioned them, but I had such a fun time rendering those. It was great. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. This video was really fun to make. If you have any suggestions for any future videos, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you liked my art, subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.